Hey fellers, Carlos, how was your closing this morning?
Oh, it was good.
Done? So in Corpus Christi, Texas, tell us what a closing entails.
Um, Pretty much just signing of all lender required documents, the warranty deed, the warranty deed is signed by the seller, and then the note, and that's it.
Okay, so in Texas, when you close, so the wire is there already?
Depending on the bank. Some banks will send it 24 hours prior. Some others wait till everything is submitted to the lender before they'll release the wire.
So how do the keys work out then for getting, like, if the wire is not there? It doesn't count, is it recorded right away, like simultaneously, or is it later in time at the county, it records later?
Oh, at the county, it records later.
Okay, but
keys are upon closing and funding.
So you don't get keys until it's in the county recorder's recording?
Oh, no. We get keys as soon as it funds. So it depends on the bank. Like Prime Lending here funds within about 30 minutes. So we'll be getting keys from my client here in the next 45.
Wow, okay, interesting. It's when the wire arrives, not actually, because there's still steps after the wire arrives till it's interesting.
Yeah, no, once the wire arrives, everybody gets their money and the keys.
Wow, okay, interesting. Yeah, no, we wait till
Closes.
yeah, till we have actually confirmation of close at the county office. Interesting. All right, good deal. Today is more about understanding, we're gonna go a little different, right? Last 2 weeks we've been on that. I've been talking to Kimberly Childs about a house that she's selling. And in this case, she sold the house in 2020 as a buyer's agent. Okay, right? Meaning that, because when I went to the tax record to look up her listing, it's at 5341 West Libby, I think. Over in Glendale, the 4-2-3 G pool. Right, single level. Right, it's really just what I want you to know is, looking at that, we'll start with Mr. Dial. Mr. Dial, looking at the main, it's lot size is above average. It's a 11,000 or 12,000 lot. North Glendale, because it's actually Center Glendale, the lots are a
So
little
south of
bigger.
101,
What's that?
south of 101, kind of central Glendale, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, Libby Street, because Libby Street was one of the seventh house I ever sold was on Libby Street, and Libby Street is about 6 streets south of Union Hills, or maybe 7 streets south of Union Hills. From Scottsdale to Surprise, or even further, if you like, that's the way Phoenix is. It's the perfect map. So
Great.
I sold a house at 48 West Libby, and this is at 43rd, because this address told me, and it might be 4351, because I can be dyslexic whenever I want to be. Hold on, Kimberly Child said the address is, and she's there now, 43. All right.
43rd Ave.
43rd, 51, close, 4351. Meaning, when I look at that already, I know that that's, when you think of streets going west in Carlos, this won't be as helpful for you, but I like, as I'm trying to build my own knowledge as a realtor, I like to pay attention to streets and areas, because then I can leverage I can pretend to have local knowledge that I actually don't have. Because when I talk about the neighborhood, people believe I'm very familiar with the neighborhood, and they're always looking for someone that's super familiar with the neighborhood, so it's never bad. So, knowing that it's going to be in us, it's every 8, right? So 40, because it's 40, it's almost 43rd.
That'd be 43rd Ave.
And then they have, is it 50, then 57? Then,
First Ave.
oh, good. All right, but let's talk about the house itself. Who wants to take a shot at what is the, we're gonna, because what we're looking for, what we talked about the last couple of weeks is what do we need to know? When we're selling a house.
Are you, what the best selling feature is? Is that what you're talking about?
Great. You take notes. That's why I went to you first. Great answer, Jeff. Look at how you're learning so much more.
Got them
Yes.
here.
Okay, yeah, exactly, right? We need to know number one reason it would sell, and then of course we have a 1, 2, 3, meaning the top 3 reasons, always top 3. Why? What do buyers want that I know for my house that I'm gonna be pointing out?
I would say top in this case.
Oh, we're gonna ask Jeff Dial.
Oh, why did he answer all that?
He didn't answer yet. All he got the,
Okay.
because he got the first one right, he gets
Better
the
get-
bonus round.
Better get it right.
Gosh. Jeff, what is it's in a golf course community, but it's not on the golf course. It's kind of in a semi cul-de-sac, so the lot looks like this. Meaning this is the main street. And it's this lot. Cause you have the typical cul-de-sac, but in case there's a street here. If, in my opinion, if the road ends in a cul-de-sac. I'm calling that a cul-de-sac, just so you know.
Yeah, why wouldn't it?
We're always looking at the things with rose-colored glasses when it's on our behalf, but what is, Jeff, what is the number? What do you think it is
I can't see the camera doesn't point, so I'm guessing it's a pie-shaped lot, so it's a larger lot, which sounds like,
it's not
It's-
pie, it's this one, Jeff,
oh,
so
it's,
it's.
it's a corner lot, so it has more privacy, but it's on a cul-de-sac,
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's a quieter street. You know, if you have kids
That's
or
the
you don't like a
number
lot of
one thing?
traffic. Also, it's a 4-bedroom. So if you have, like most families, like the owner's bedroom plus the 2 other bedrooms, it gives you room for an office.
2505 square feet.
Okay, but it gives you another
Is there
selling
any
feature.
questions you have about the house as well, before you give me your number one thing?
I'm thinking it's older. Okay. This one-
Okay, so then Kimberly was there and she told me, she said, my clients upgraded the house nicely. So the way that I teach people to talk is I said, because that's a very, when clients ask you, or you ask a client, hey, we've upgraded it. You think this and they think whatever. I don't like, and if they spent money, they think it's upgrading the house. And that is not true, right? Because if you spent money to build a chicken coop in the backyard, that limited your audience. No, but I'm just using a ridiculous example, but it just highlights it because we know that, meaning if they painted a bedroom, they call it upgrading. If they tore out the quartz and put in granite from 10 years ago, they think it's upgrading. My point is that they make mistakes. Or you get there and they're like, we upgraded the second bath, not the master bath. Unfortunately, that actually hurts more than anything because now there's disappointed because I don't use the second bath. It's hard because you have to be able to absorb that, but then to turn it into price back to them. So Kimberly tells me on this house, because they, can we pull it up?
Yep.
So, because when I'm looking at the comps, if I go like this, where is it? Is it here?
It's right there.
There, yeah.
I'll leave the screen open first. so you-
Let's see if I can. Am I close?
No, you just gotta go up.
Now we can see it.
All right, let's get the photos here.
Here, I can pull it up.
Oh, hold on. We're just looking, like, this is my tax record.
Okay.
I'm gonna zoom in. So.
Got a pool?
There it is. As you can see, the pool in the corner. All right. So what, because the reason I look at the tax record first is it highlights the main things, as I can see here. Because in ours, Carlos, I don't know if you can see this, but in ours, what do I think is? You can click on the old MLS, you can see 2,500 square feet.
It's dated.
Yeah, this house is very dated.
Terrible.
Yeah, we have similar.
Okay, hold on.
You can see the old listings, yeah.
Yeah, so go look at the old listing and you can see this house. I'm gonna bang through these photos. Right, one level though, 3-car garage, beautiful curb appeal.
Mhm.
Sawteel tile, who doesn't love sawteel tile? A
Steps.
couple steps. Right, you can see the old, no one opened up the floor plan,
Terrible kitchen light.
right, kitchen. What I love about the kitchen
Terrible.
is when you can see the worn wood in the picture, right? To me, that just shows me the agent sucked, because why would you not tell them? Like, if you can see that the cabinets are dated from in the photos, we're fucked, right? But anyway, this house comes out, they buy it in 2020 and it fucking sells first. Like, the point is that when a house is dated, as long as it's price appropriate, meaning if everything else is dated, that's just what it is. That's that, because in this, at the time, at 350,000 for this house on that lot with that condition, that house was perfect.
Mhm.
Now, clearly that house wasn't perfect, but morning for the expectation of the buyer, 350, that was the best house. And that may be because it was large, and this is where this is how I want you to think, is maybe because it's this, I get 4 bedrooms at, that's good. Maybe it's the 3-car garage, maybe it's the pool, maybe it's the single level, maybe it's the lot. But Kimberly told me they put in new cabinets, because when I asked her about upgrades, because in helping you communicate to me, but helping you communicate to your client, I said, all right, tell me the upgrades they did in the kitchen. And then I shut up, and she said, they put in new cabinets and they put in new countertops. I'm like, wait, no. Now it had stainless steel appliances in that picture, so I'm good, right? And then she said they redid the master bath and then they removed all the flooring. Oh, good. All right, cool. Now we're talking about, because they upgraded in the right spots. So I start with the most important when I'm talking to them. Okay, well, you're talking about upgrades. Well, what? Oh, we didn't do the kitchen first, meaning if we were ever representing sellers, we always recommend upgrades in the kitchen first, always, because that's the place that people are the most in your house. Or you're sleeping in the master bedroom more, but you're sleeping. When you're awake, you spend the most time in the kitchen of any of the rooms. You sit in a family room, but that's because we all love TV, right? So, or we like to read. But you get the idea, is that we know that anyone coming in the house is going to go into the kitchen. Therefore, that's the most important thing. All right, Jeff, do you have our top, when you want to make a guess now?
Well, off of that, I would have said the number of bedrooms, garage
I
space.
wanted to give you a
large
little
lot.
bit about condition as well,
Yep.
because, so what do you think is the most important thing?
Knowing everything else now, knowing
Yes.
everything else now, I'd say
Everything, yeah.
the kitchen is going to be number one. If it's
What about the kitchen, Jeff?
Well, it's if they've bought it in 2000, so it's been updated in the last 5 years. So
2020, they bought it 2 years ago. It's been
Right.
updated in the last 2 years.
exactly. So
Right, so upgrades in the kitchen is number one, and I'm just gonna use upgrades overall. Obviously, when a house is dated, because then the steps go away, then the bad arches go away, because now the house is pretty much redone. Now, of course, you're gonna talk to some girl at that house in the open house, and she's like, this isn't redone. Well, they didn't do this and they didn't do this. That is her opinion of redone. Right? For us,
Redone bad.
when a house is recovered with current materials, that's what is the definition of redone. Is I got new flooring, I got new countertops, I got paint, right? Like, ideally, if we're gonna say the whole house is upgraded, it's 80% of the house has to be touched. It doesn't mean they have to change walls, it doesn't mean they have to change doors, it doesn't mean they have to change windows, It doesn't mean roofs or AC, which people have a hard time about that. Roofs and maintenance is what I consider those. Right? Because a roof wears out, you never replace your wall. Your wall stands there for fucking 200 years. I lived in a house in Philadelphia that was built 170 years ago, and it was the same wall.
Really?
Well, it's like, yeah, like they have old houses there. They have old houses there, right? Like houses that were built in
That's what-
1800 or 19, yeah, like, they have some old motherfucking houses in Philadelphia, okay? But the point is that they never change the walls. They redo the roof every 40 years, right? And you redo the ACs every 15, but those are maintenance items. But remember, the seller thinks that those are upgrades. They upgraded their AC, but think about where in the contract it says that the air conditioner, right? Because think about an AC. If it's 2 years old or 12 years old, does that matter in the inspection?
Yes.
Yes. What if the house is 7 years old? What happens? Or the AC, what if the AC is 7 years old? Do we even talk about it?
Probably still in warranty.
Well, whatever, but the idea is if it's under 10 years old,
You're in Texas,
they're
they do.
getting a severely used AC at that point versus if it's new, but see how there's that area of, so. Because what I'm saying is the newness of an AC does not have the newness of a kitchen. Right? The kitchen has more impact on price when it gets upgraded.
Visually too, you can't.
Right, no, it's because of the visually, right? Because I only need to replace my AC when it's broken. Are we good? It's good, okay, cool. Because anything that's not gonna have cost within 3 years, they don't really consider it, but it's not like you put in a new roof and now because you put 30,000 in a roof, you get the full value. You only get the value of an existing roof, right? And then it's a little bit better. So you only get a third of that improvement in that price is what the way that's the way the market interprets it, not me. Questions? But great job. So Jeff got upgrades. Who wants to go at number 2?
What's the?
I'm gonna let you wait. You're the ace in the hole. Do we got Sal, we got Carlos, or we got, what is the second most important thing? Wait, we're looking for the top 3
Master
things. Like
Bath.
what is gonna sell this house? It's
Master
not
Bath.
school, and it's not school district.
It's master bath.
No, because I mean, to me, it's all upgraded. It's not like she didn't tell me, Carlos, because when I think of a house that's
That
upgraded,
house. Yeah, okay.
okay, but they did not change the bathroom. I was talking a few weeks ago about the bathroom that I took from being a galley bathroom to making a full bathroom with a big master closet. That's a true upgrade. See how that's upgraded? We don't even think of, oh, we replaced the stuff, that's good, but wouldn't it be better if they made it bigger and if they had added closet space to the master bath? Yes, right? Like, but so we didn't realize that our 10 was actually a 7.5, right? Like, because what we're thinking is upgraded is, well, did she put marble in? No, she put in granite, right? So did she put in high, super high-end finishes? She didn't based on this profile, but I'm just helping you understand upgraded versus not.
What's the pool look like?
But to me,
It's spacious, right? It's a big spacious house between the bedrooms and the garage. You have a lot of space in the house.
yeah, right, but I don't think that that's the selling feature. What is the?
Oh, you don't? Okay.
What is the meaning? What is going to get people to pay for more for this house than the comparable neighbor's house? What is the
Oh,
most?
I was thinking outside of
Hold
the
on.
subdivision, but you mean
You're
in
good,
this.
no, Jeff, you're good. Thank you.
Okay.
What?
The pool?
Good guess, Carlos. A pool is definitely, because to me, these are debatable, 2 and 3. But yes, pool. Why?
Availability of pools.
No.
And the
No.
fact
No,
that
no.
they don't have
Here-
to
here's the thing.
make the expense.
Whenever you're thinking of something, always think of majority. Would most people in Arizona If they could afford it, is the key part of that. Meaning, if the buyer could afford it, would you want a pool?
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely.
I've had one in every house. I'm just saying, I ain't looking at anything without a pool in Arizona ever. It's a cost thing.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I do feel like the condition of the pool when you go see the house makes a difference, because if the pool looks awful in a buyer's mind, that's like an expense. Like if it's.
I'm
all
just letting you
chipped-
finish. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
listening.
if it's all like chipped and cracked.
I know it's weird to think that I'm not talking when you're talking. I'm trying to listen better.
I just think that like the condition of the pool, if it's.
All right, Sal, Carlos, do you guys think the condition of the pool matters? Do you think the condition of the pool matters, Adam? Of course. I mean, I don't agree.
I think it helps.
Okay, hold on, hold on. If you work with a lot of non-pool people, you'll hear of the reasons that they say they don't have a pool, but the reality is most of the time it's cost, if they could afford it. Right, because that is that they can't afford it. See that? They can't afford to upgrade it.
Right, that makes sense.
Like they can't afford it, right? No matter what it is because you're adding another thing that requires maintenance at a house. But it's like, I think of it like self-driving. Would everybody want self-driving? Yes, you would. I'm just telling you, I use it all the time. You would want it if you could have get it. Like it's that way I drive around and I fucking make fun of people while I'm talking, right? Like, but I can do whatever I want anytime I'm driving in the car. I don't even have to pay attention. Like I can fucking drive like this, going 75 miles an hour, and I do. Okay? Because it's fun. No, it's kind of trippy, but back to here, to me, this is what we as agents get too lost in, right? Where we get too caught up at, it's really just single level and pool.
Agreed with.
Right? I'm just trying to get you to understand that everybody wants move-in ready. So great job, Jeff, right? But the next one are more simple things that, because location doesn't matter to them, meaning they pick the location they want and that's what they want. So it's anything in that area. So it's not really location as much because you've made it, you're looking at all the houses in the same area. I'm leaning towards 3G, but a lot of that, if somebody would have asked and said, well, do all the other ones have it? But because there's a lot of 2 levels in Metro Glendale, obviously Carlos wouldn't have known that, but hopefully you looked in Glendale, there's a lot of 2 stories. But it's only because the way you think about it is, who are the people that don't want upgraded houses? Investors are people with money that want to flip it. Is that the bigger portion of the pool or the smaller portion?
Smaller.
Smaller, okay. So
So the majority wants
why would
upgraded.
someone buy a 2-level over a 1-level?
They have a family.
More space for the price. 2 levels are cheaper and you get more space in a 2-level for the same price as a 1-level. You get to add. So typically families, because they don't care, because they're younger. Families are younger. No one talks about this because they're worried about fair housing, but is it fair to say if you're having children, you're probably not 82? In
Correct.
most cases, right? We have George Burns and people that have had 8 kids after that, because as long as you can produce sperm, you can have a child. But generally, it's the younger people of it. They can't afford to choose a single level because, I only ever lived I grew up in a 1-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 2-level house, right? It was 1,400 square feet straight up, right? 700 square feet on the first floor and 700 square feet on the second floor. There was one bath on the second floor. That was the only bath in the house. My dad had to add a half bath, but that was the house that I grew up in. Awesome, right? It's like the house, except it's a fucking 2-story. And now in the world, because Zillow changed their search parameters because the people complained too much that they didn't want to look. Imagine that, consumers, 200 million, they have 200 million visitors. Those visitors said, stop sending us 2 levels. I want to be able to choose not, like, that's how, and that's just my point here, just understanding now those are like upgraded, boom, boom. Now, of course, to me, there's one piece of functional obsolescence from here, and we'll go with, are we close to time? No, we got a lot more time.
Yeah, we go till 10:30.
Okay, good. I just wanted to cover this because we come across it. What is the biggest functional obsolescence you see? Let's go with Sal or you. Adam?
So,
You want to take a guess?
Is it the 3-car garage?
that's good.
That's good, not bad. I said functional obsolescence. What is the reason it won't sell?
Too bad.
2 bath.
Yep, doesn't have a half bath.
Okay, right. So at what price ranges or what square footage ranges do houses start to have an extra bath?
Probably over 1,700 maybe.
What is, all right, I guess this is the question. What is the smallest house you've been in that has 3 total bathrooms, which is 2 fulls and a powder, or in the unique situation, 1 full bath and a powder? If it's a 1-bedroom house, it has a 1-bedroom and a powder.
Maybe 1,600.
Homes that have,
1,600?
like I've been in townhomes that are 1,400 square feet.
Right, okay. Anyone been in one smaller?
I think that's good.
Yeah, I think 1,100, 900
Okay.
is what I think is the smallest one I've been in.
3 bath or 2.5 bath.
Right, because, well, here's why, who
Upstairs.
can afford, no, it's always about cost. No, not in Greyhawk, who can afford to pay for extra baths? The wealthy people. See, if you're not previewing wealthy homes, you don't know. But you can have a 900 square foot house, but because they never want anybody in their bathroom and they can afford to have an extra bath. In a unique situation, you can have 1 bath, but they have a powder. Like there's, I think in Terra Vita or Boulders, there's a set of condos in there. I think it's Boulders, right? Where there's the house is not much and yet there's the master bath has its own bath and there's a powder for the other people to use. Like the reality is trying to understand, okay, but the standard is more about 2,100 to 2,200 square feet. I'm just trying to give you background and context of understanding why, but not really does it become a problem because it's not a necessity to have more than 1 bath in a house. I told you a story. I lived in a house, mom, dad, two boys, 1 bathroom. We didn't even know it was wrong. I didn't even know it was broken. I didn't know that other people had other baths. Right? When did we get the bath? Well, mom and dad are done. Right? She showers, runs it across the hallway, and then my brother gets in it and I'm last and it's cold. That's just the way it was. Right? But our water heater was only 40 gallon because we couldn't afford a 50 gallon or a 75 gallon. And again, I didn't know that our water heater was small. Right? Like that's just life. Your job is you're assessing this stuff and you have to see what is, because the problem is that just like it was hard for us to come to this idea, people also, they don't get it. But these are the top 3 reasons of why this house is going to sell. But the number 1, like ideally, because the biggest thing is what, Sal? Why at 2,200 square feet with 4 bedrooms? What is the key kicker here? What group of people needs that extra half bath or full bath?
People with kids,
Not just people with kids. What kind of kids?
young kid or teenage kids.
Opposite sex kids. Right? When you have a boy and a girl, when you shop with buyers, this is what you need to be paying attention to is like when you're shopping with buyers, if they can't afford 2 bathrooms, the kids share a bathroom. That's not a big deal. Okay. But as soon as they could afford, and that daughter turns 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know, are they gonna want her to have a different bathroom than her little brother or her older brother? Yes. Right? Like the reality is that's why it creates it, because it's a family situation that you have no control of, but they want it because, or they have a grandparent that visits a lot. Is the one that wants the powder. I gotta be able to let someone go in and take a dump and stink up the, when grandpa comes, he puts a grumpy in there. He's in there for reading the fucking Wall Street Journal or the USA Today or whatever. And I don't want my kid, all right, so we good there? Okay, now we're gonna talk about. So. They buy this house for $350,000. Let's say they spent 80 grand. On the upgrades. I'm going high with new flooring, new cabinets, granite, new bathrooms, 2,500 square feet. You're gonna spend 80 grand. It used to be 45, 8 years ago, and now it's almost double. But that's probably in a range of what they spent, and it could be 60 and it could be 100, meaning if her husband does all the work, he might be able to get it done for 42 now, right? To upgrade that whole house if he had the construction company or dad did it or whatever, But what I'm after here now is talking about how you set up the client, meaning Kimberly did such a great job setting their expectations from initial point, right? Because what happens is younger couple buys this house at 350, not uncommon. It's a shithole. They upgraded and now they want to buy a new home. Unfortunately, because they live in Peoria, they can. But they got their eyes, now once they can afford it, they want to get the new home. This was their starter home or whatever. But what she did a great job was because people don't know, especially if both of them work. They look on Zillow, they have an idea, but they don't know their thing. They don't know the exact price of their house, but because looking at these comps, 3/4 of them are 2 stories. The numbers are lower. 3/4 of the comps, this is in contradictory to the statement I made in Tuesday's meeting. Most of the comps are not upgraded. When I'm going through the sale of these houses, when I'm looking at the sale, when I'm going through the neighborhood, and I'm looking at the comps here, because in the comps I had 12 sales. When I'm clicking through each one of those and looking at the pictures, I'm seeing most of them are not as upgraded as my house. Right? And now that makes it even better. But the good news is this client's price was lower online than I think it should be, because they had a 1 level. Because the thing is in putting a pool, because obviously if you're buying a second home, meaning that lots of empty nesters are buying a second home here. They're here now they're here in the winter time, but they're pretty wealthy if they're going to want to choose to be in just the idea of I want to be in a golf course subdivision starts to talk about a nicer neighborhood, a more wealthy neighborhood, because not all neighborhoods have golf courses, and not for the golf, for the views, for the for the manicured lawns that I don't have to pay for. Manicured view, anytime that someone else has to pay for my view to take care of it, the happier I am, right? That's a better deal because I know my lot's on the edge and it's gonna be green every day and I don't have to worry about it. Plus I can see further. But I'm talking about this is more the psychology, because when I started looking at the comps for her, I was at 600,000. And looking at the comps, if you want to look at 4351 West Libby Street, if you want to pull your comps and compare yourself. Because when I went to 2 levels, I had to look outside the subdivision because there was only one level that had sold in the last 6 months. And it wasn't upgraded. Right? That's what can fool you, because if your like comp isn't in the same condition, meaning there's a 2,500 square foot house that sells at 538. Lists and sells unupgraded. Right? And it's a 2-story. And it had like, it was upgraded, but it was upgraded 10, 12 years ago. It was nice, but 2 levels, yeah. Unupgraded 538. But she had prepared them for 550 as the low end, which was awesome. But she set that low bar, and she had them in a 500 to 600 range. Because she listened to the client first before talking to them about value. Right? Because fortunately, when they start to go shopping for a new build, when you get a call and you're out, because people buy first, then they sell. Meaning typically, you only sell first if you can't afford not to sell first. Meaning, this client went out shopping for a new build, even though they're going to be contingent on, and they have to sell the house before the new build so they can actually buy the new build. Now, Kimberly went in and negotiated with them and they got a little flexible. And because the builder's like, you're with the CBOC team and you guys and Kimberly has great numbers, they'll work with you to not, but it's supposed to be sold before they sign the contract. They're listing the house today. She's walking in there. But the beautiful thing, because I'm just trying to set up the mental idea, is that so she has her client between 550, they bought it for 350, they put 80K in. Because I'm saying that a lot, because what I see a lot of times, it was actually, if you sell Cody the lot where the guy thought he was gonna get 180,000 and you got 140 and he was over the moon. We love that. Right? Because she's like, well, she has to sell it right away. And I'm like, shit, price it at 600. And she's like, that was my high price. I'm like, fuck yeah. But because I know the power of connected eliteness, and I don't know how to say it, but my point is that when you have a 3-car garage, what I call no functional obsolescence, single level, full upgraded, you've covered the big 4. I got parking, I'm single level, I'm upgraded, and I got a pool.
It's just the 2-bath.
It's just the 2-bath. And the way we all got men in here, it's just, I used to equate this to dating a lot, because the way I like to think of it is I used to call it the Matthew McConaughey rule. Because when Matthew McConaughey goes to a dance, is it fair to say, I'm going to use cheap language here because I'm from Pennsylvania, and I'm going to demean women, and I don't mean it, but I like to be funny, and he would have the pick of the litter, okay? Right? If there's single women there and Matthew McConaughey walks in looking like not, and sometimes you can't recognize him, but comes in with like, we know that, right? And that's the kind of thing is
He's gonna bat it.
because he's fucking wealthy, he's fucking good looking, he's tall, he's smart, he's intelligent, like. From the outside, looks pretty perfect, okay? That's what we're here is we don't have any functional obsolescence, meaning that. Maybe Matthew though, right? Because when he's looking at women. He might be more, maybe he's looking more about what they care about, more about what they look like than more about how great of a person the women are.
Shallow.
If he's gonna, yeah, but maybe he's not being shallow, he's being, right, so, but he sees this girl and he starts talking to her and she's beautiful and she finds out that she smokes. Is he gonna, if that's his number one choice, yeah, he might get over it, right? Like, that's something I can convince somebody, like, meaning houses have flaws, but the better their strong ports are, is more demand. They can overcome it because they got 70 to 100 buyers because it's one level, 3-car garage with a pool under in this neighborhood, 700 to get one level with a good sized lot. Because I'm looking at 2.5 miles, but I know that there's just not a lot of them. And when there is one, it's fucking dated. So why I wanted to share this with you, because in that instance, that house sells for more because you're listening, you're like, wow, that sold right away. But you underestimated the powers of what I'm trying to teach you in this class of, right, when there's no functional obsolescence, or if it has a lot of functional obsolescence, because there's steps as well, I showed you. The steps kind of go away when it's upgraded at 600,000 with a pool one level. Especially in neighborhoods that have lots of 2 levels, the steps aren't as, because their other option is a 2 level, right? Like that. Yeah, there are more steps. So now 2 steps is less.
Pros are outweighing the cons.
Yeah, and that's all we're at here is just understanding when we're looking at houses, because we can get caught up in our own opinion of the house. Right? Because what it is buyers are just going in here and they're looking and they're going 600,000, 8, whatever their 400, 200,000, whatever their number is. And it's the things at that price range that the best, the things that they want, the things that they could prefer. What's more important, square footage or one level? What's more important, baths or pool? You know how when you're with a buyer and you're going there and they're like, well, I want this. Because what do buyers do? They're like, well, I saw a house at 500,000 that had 3.5 baths, so I want 300,000. Then I saw another one at 500,000 that had a pool, so I want a pool. And but they see one feature, but this helps you on both sides. Is then they go, okay, I want all of them in one house, and that's called champagne on a beer budget. I want the perfect house, because if you get all 3 of them in one house, that house is worth 750, not 600 anymore. But if you have one of the 4, then it sells for 100,000 less. Like that's what people don't. And that's what I'm trying to help you. Hopefully that resonated with you. And other than that, we can answer questions, but that was my point for today is 1, don't raise their price when it's lower. It's always better to list it lower because it will sell for, because the thing is her client thinks 600. I was telling her I was thinking the high number was 675. And I said passive was more like, I said I thought it would sell at 600 to 630 because I'm not seeing the house. She's standing in front of the house. She's been in the house a couple times. Like it's hard without feeling flow and the neighborhood and all that stuff. But I'm like, I feel it's going to sell for 610, 620, 630 maybe. But but when she told me her client was this, I'm like, come in at 570, 580. Like it will sell over asking in today's marketplace for sure because of these fucking things.
Yeah.
And now you're aggressive. So now she's gonna get 6 offers, and in 6 offers now, it's gonna go higher. So, but she needed to do it for the builder. It has to sell, right? So I always, if they were not in a pressed situation, I would have still said start at 600. And just said, I'll tell you what, because in this instance, I would pitch it to my seller though, of we could try 600 maybe. But don't, if it doesn't sell right in 10 days, we're gonna have to, if we don't get 20 people through the open house and it offers right away, we're gonna have to go to 580. What do you want to do? Your call. Right? I don't, that in there, if I had them at 5, I would maybe go, maybe the non-competitive price might be 625. Right? Passive 580, low 550. That's okay, right? They never are mad when it sells for more than they thought it would sell for. Don't change their opinion to be higher. To make it harder on you and harder on them, as long as you know, and because they will still, as long as you do all the right things, you're still gonna get top dollar, as long as you give it enough. Because I think you need 3 days on the internet to get full value. You know, it's not required all the time. When they're great houses, as soon as people see it, they're starting to make offers right away. We don't need 3 days when it's spectacular, but I got a 2.5, I got steps that I don't think this house is perfect by any stretch. If it didn't have steps.
Because people like to list homes a lot on, is it like Thursday or Fridays? And then they'll say, we'll review offers.
Yeah, that's
on
why I
Monday.
did Thursday, because then you get the Thursday night, this day 0, Friday, Saturday, Sunday offers. Monday is what I think is the perfect timeline to make sure, just because you have your workers, you have some people that work during the week and some people work during the day, but over a 4-day span, everyone's gonna have a chance to see it. Because the thing is you don't know which one's gonna offer you the most amount of money. When I see a lot of agents, when it sells first day full price, agents are like, oh, I did a great job. And I'm like, you don't know that someone wouldn't have gave you 610, if we listed at 600, 610, 620, 630, if they knew someone else is interested. And that's the thing, is that when someone else is interested, the number goes higher without anybody's control. Yes, Cody.
It's exactly what you've been saying, especially the past 2 weeks. The houses that are priced more aggressively are getting 11, 12 offers over list. They're getting the terms that they want.
It's better, but it's hard to convince agents, but that's the better route, because when someone gets 11 offers, they're like, oh, Cody, yeah, like you're like, thank you so much. They know they got full price, because that's what everybody wants to feel. And we lose that's what everybody thinks is gonna happen every single time. I love people when they're like, all right, $2 million, that's gonna fly off the shelf. Like what, like you're expecting multiple offers and then we list the house as fucking crickets. And they're like, oh, you did a bad job. Like, I'm like, no, motherfucker, it's on the internet. Like, worst case, it's on Zillow, it's on Trulia, it's on, like, it's people have a chance to see it, right? It's kind of, we all have that sleeper boy or girl that we're looking at, and that, you like when you see her not, and then when you see her all dressed up, you're like, what was it? Like that one in college or high school, you're like, yeah, I didn't know, like, what I was wrong, right? More questions? That was number 1. All right, so number 2 was make sure you know the points from last week. I was just, can you pick them out of the, right? So, happy Wednesday, Thursday, what day is it? Thursday?
Yeah,
Questions
Thursday.
now? Jeff, any questions? All right, we're done.
I guess
Thank you.
there'd be one question.
Great.
Is you've talked about we should start setting vacant open houses during the week. Is there anything you would do to like kind of pick up people who are interested in selling their house when they're coming into those open houses during the week? From the neighbors?
The question that I heard, I just want to make sure I heard it right.
Yeah.
Is that if you're sitting in an open house during the week and you catch a neighbor coming by that one, how do they tell me I want to sell?
No, they're saying, oh, I'm just coming by to get ideas. And I'll ask like, are you looking to sell? I always like to ask that question, obviously.
Right. So what, are you asking me what I sell or what do I do or?
What would you do? What do you recommend to us, best practices to pick up if they're thinking
Oh,
about selling?
the best practice for me, if I'm sitting in an open house, I've seen every house on the market, hopefully. Right? Because I would say, well, is your house like, I want them to think I'm a local expert, Jeff. Great question. So the best way would be to talk to them about a house that's listed that I have been in, that maybe they saw online or had been in as well. Because I want them to recognize that I'm not here in this neighborhood for the first fucking time. And when I talk about, well, when we were gonna list this house, to me, what they want to hear, Jeff, is that you're familiar with the neighborhood. You walk in, they're in the open house, there's not a lot of traffic there, so you're trying to engage them about something that they think is important in what I call value, and that is you don't know what house they have yet. So then my first question would be, is your house similar to this one? Tell me about your house, but awesome. Are you thinking of upgrading the bathroom? Are you thinking of like, I would just try and help them that way, but hey, have you been in that one? Because the answer is I'm trying to get myself invited over there. Because if they say they're looking for ideas, I used to pitch people, Jeff, oh, that's awesome. I have a free service for that. Actually, we have a staging company that we have that we can do a 1 hour appointment anytime. It's free advice. When can we come over? It's called a listing appointment. But instead it was, we do consultations because what people, sometimes they upgrade the wrong things. HGTV and Zillow are really, things that are nice to haves and not always what people pay more for. And that's the problem is if I come over to your house, I will help point out the things that you'll get 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 return on investment. Because there's half of the things that you invest in your house, you get 50% return on. So I just want you to understand the benefits because, they're like, oh, well, we put in a roof and we know that, of course, the roof gets more value. That's not the point that you want to talk about the roof not getting the value, what it is, that you're just going to eat that one, right? Like, of course, you're going to get more. I said more money. I didn't say that they're going to get 3-to-1. I just said more because I wanted to hedge because, right here's this is the guy because that's the thing. And then I would ask them about that, but let's go back to see what else you wanted to, there's more to that approach, Jeff. So first I'm trying to set an appointment with them no matter what. So my strategy was I would go to that upgrade. If they said, we want to upgrade our house, I would get Lisa to come with me or have myself come out or, vice versa. Or I call it a 2-step is I come out first and then my stager comes out after because I'm the one that decides the value because people think the stager determines, but Lisa likes to upgrade lights and moldings and different things that don't have as like pretty things. A lot of people think pretty things, but pretty things always like you see here. I didn't ask, did they replace the handles? I didn't ask, did they open up the floor? I mean, the point is the thing, Jeff, for sure though, is you have to get them a CMA. Right.
Got it.
The other thing is that you need to get their cell phone number because I would be like, oh, cool. I'm going to see, because when you did when you were going to that house and you were looking at the actives and the coming soons, you could say, oh if you really want to do your homework for your open house I would call the agents that first listed their house and say, hey, do you have any buyers that came in? I got an off-market property coming on the market. It's kind of like the one you listed. Do you have any buyers? And then I would tell them, there's a couple buyers that really want to be in this neighborhood that I've met through the marketing process. right? People going to open houses, right? Like you're gonna, there's a couple that really want to be in this neighborhood. Maybe your house will fit for them. When can I see it? Like just flat out ask them if they want to sell without saying sell. You see how I said that? Like, well, oh my God, you live in the neighborhood? Oh, during the marketing process, I found there's like 3 or 4 couples that are looking to be in this neighborhood right now. Right? Would can I come check your house out to see if it'll work for it? Well, you're gonna bring the buyer over. I'm like, well, I do all the work for my people. I don't know if you work for other realtors, but I outwork everybody, right? Like I'm working ahead of buyers and sellers. I'm always Johnny on the spot. Like why I'm here now is because I'm making sure we're doing everything to market for this seller because they want you to know that you're there. Like people don't understand the power of the open house. They think I'm here to get buyers. No, I'm trying to sell this house. Right? Because we know that people shop untethered. And then I would go into, you're trying to impress them with language, Jeff, that's a little different. I'm just trying to throw different things. You want me to
No, this
repeat
is helping.
anything? Okay. And then the next day, they're like within 24 hours, they get a CMA from you. They feel that you heard them. That's why that works. Nobody else delivers a package to your open house visitors within 24 hours. So when you drop something off, you're at least worst case, you heard them. Now they could be fearful of that you heard them because now you're dropping off the house, but you're a real estate expert and you know where everybody lives. And well, hey, if I get a buyer that comes in here, Jeff, because that's the other word, not I got it through my marketing process. Well, during the week, we only get usually 2 or 3 people, but a lot of times that's the people that are not that work during the weekend and they're, restaurant owners and nightclub owners and stuff aren't looking at houses on the weekend. They're sleeping during the day, right? So those people prefer to look during the day, during the week. And I'm just making sure that we do anything to market it, but also because I got lots of, I had a buyer that came in here over the weekend and they told me, they saw everything on the internet. Is your house listed yet? You're just trying to, you want to be the person that has buyers in that neighborhood, Jeff, because that's what they're looking at. Everybody wants that one person that's, maybe I can sell it. They got to be in this neighborhood. Oh yeah, they want to be in the school district. So that's why I know in the school district. And so you can tell your story and then intertwine the local things, but now you're bragging. It's like what you're, they want to be in Copper Canyon. I don't know. Do you have kids? Right. But it's called the subtle brag. I'm a local area expert. I'm bragging about what I know because that's why I tell you to prepare more for the open house. Because too many people just show up in an open house and expect now your tool belt's so much smaller. When your tool belt is to talk about the streets and to talk about the families that live here, now you're more of a community expert and that's what they're looking for, and hopefully if it's one of our listings, you're like, obviously we're here. That's why I'm here. Is that helpful? Great question.
And when you're talking to them about what the home, you said, I've had some home buyers come through the house. They're looking to be in this neighborhood. They're kind of looking for a house. That's why you're asking them, oh, is your house similar to this house? Basically. So you can say, oh, they're looking for something similar to this, but a little bit different.
Right. So that's the part where you got to kind of really pay attention. And early on, it's why I asked those questions of in the front, did you find us online or the internet? Did you live in this neighborhood or another one? But why I asked them, is this your floor plan? Because then when they say that, I say, oh, they just didn't like the floor plan. Because if they have a different floor plan, they're open to 2 levels. Because I know there's a lot of 2 levels in the neighborhood. Which one do you have? Your buyers, their thing is they really want to be in this school district because that's one that is always for the labor. You know what I mean? Because the thing is if you don't know yet, pool or no pool, but I love to bandwagon my bragging, like, oh. Do you have a pool? Are you one level? Like, what are the features of your house? Like, how many bathrooms, how many bedrooms? Like, tell me, like, how's the condition of your house, right? As soon as they say something, sweet, two of them really wanted a pool. One of them said they can do up, like, you're just trying to show flexibility, but also talking about hopefully that you've already collected from the open house visitors. Because you're telling, you're asking them about if they're in a one level pool or no pool, or how old the house is or whatever. You have enough information that you can learn if you ask questions during that phase. Okay, they have a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Oh, they have the smaller floor plan. Hopefully, if you saw those floor plans online, like, it's when you pull comps to go into an open house. I know people don't do that, but I used to pull comps when I was really hungry, when I didn't have enough business. I would spend all my time getting ready for open houses because I wanted to be the local expert in that fucking open house. Because when I know the floor, oh, okay, so you were in the Monterey floor plan, or you in the, because that's what I used to do in Greyhawk, and that fucking kills them. If you can, because the old listings usually have the floor plans in some neighborhoods. If you know the names of the floor plans, are you in the 2438? Are you in the 2600? Are you like, you're again, because you're bragging about the floor plans, only a local person would know that. When you speak generally, that's what everybody says, speak generally. You want to be talking about specifics, and the way you learn the specifics, because that's the cornerstone of this, is it's the specifics about that neighborhood. So therefore, they always think that you're the expert, because who knows all the floor plans in the like, that for in your neighborhood, don't you? You know the different, even if it's condos or townhomes, there's this floor plan and this floor plan, and that's your chance to brag that stuff, yeah. Because that's what they want to hear. Which one's your favorite? Well, which one have you been in? Like, that's why they ask those questions, because they don't want to talk to you unless you're a local expert. They don't want to engage in you until, like, so if you don't meet that, it's harder, unless you're from Wisconsin, they're from Wisconsin. You can match somewhere else, but it's easier to match on that stuff from the neighborhood, because the odds of you being from their school or whatever is just so little that this is a guaranteed strategy, because then I can at least have a good quality conversation with 40% of the people that come in my open house. And if I deliver them a CMA after, I get a call 4 months down the road. They don't even call you back, Jeff, but then they're like, then you get a text and they're like, have you been in this house? I'm going to see it at 4:00 this afternoon. No matter if you've seen it or anything, you're like, let me confirm the address. Where are you talking about? Which one? All right. Thank you. Unless there's Sal, question from you.
No, I'm good. Thank you for today. It was great.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Actually, I
Appreciate
love that. So that last part you're saying, like, as a good follow-up, you can call them and say, hey, I'm going to go check out this house in the neighborhood. You want to see what they've done there? Invite them along.
Yeah. I mean, you're just trying to, anytime you can join them at a house, like, hey, I would just, Jeff, if you had one, you got to get their cell phone number. That's the key. And then I would do my best to try and come up with an off mark. I would drive around that neighborhood and I'd find one and to say, hey, did you see the new listing? If you can, between the point when they leave the open house and the next 5 days, if you could text them twice about a house that they haven't seen, now you're going to win, right? Like, hey, did you see this one that came out at your same floor plan? Let's go see it. Or you're sending an alert up for yourself to have them, but also you're checking 3 times a day in MLS on a safe search of, you're just looking for the newest stuff. So you can be the first to deliver the news. It's a lot of work, but
No, that's excellent. But hey, if it gets you listening, gets you in the door, it builds some mind
it's just
share.
learning that this is what we have to do. I wish it was easier, but you know what? I know this worked.
No, thank
Happy
you.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Thank you, guys.